Let's find some day trades, swing trades, and option trades. Hello, traders. We're 2.5 hours into trading. It is Wednesday, July 22nd. We've got a fairly flat market right now. Let's take a look at the action. You can see how Monday we had a really nice rally. We closed on the high. We had some follow through buying on Tuesday. Nice gap up higher. As I'd mentioned to everyone in the chat room, said, listen, we've got to be very careful of a gap reversal here. We've tended to see those off of new relative highs. And sure enough, we tried to probe for resistance and then we fell back, tried to poke through that resistance level, the high of the day, another time late in the day. And then we saw some profit taking into the close that actually brought us back down below the close on on Monday. So we filled in that gap. Today, had a little bit of a rally, a little bit of a sell-off. We tested the low of the day. We're going to stay in a fairly tight trading range. If I zoom out, you can see that based on the low from Monday, which that was the low from Monday, and that was the high from Tuesday, that the market was probably going to be within a very wide range. And so the gains that we had yesterday, we're starting to try and get back into the middle of that gap. The market has been floating higher. That's exactly what I've been describing to you. I think it's going to continue to do that until mega cap tech stocks have announced earnings. Apple announces on July 30th. So we've got about another 10 days or so for some bullish market bias right now. I'm going to go into the daily chart and you can see how we've been gradually inching our way up. Flat trading in there, lots of dojis, try to probe through that resistance. We're holding it right now. I'm skeptical. I see a lot of dark clouds mounting on the horizon. We have U.S.-China trade relations starting to deteriorate. The U.S. told China to close its consulate in Houston. There were some hackers that were trying to steal coronavirus-related intellectual property. So that's heating up. We also have U.S. removing favorable trade status for Hong Kong now that China has tightened its grip on it. So that's not going to play well in the market. We also have the coronavirus continuing to spread. President Trump is taking a little bit more of a cautious stance right now. He's actually wearing a mask. He said that it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. A lot of states are considering rolling back to phase 3. So that's going to prolong this economic recovery. We have Democrats and Republicans battling on how they should deliver stimulus. And they thought that they were going to get something done by July 31st. Right now, that looks less likely. However, don't worry. They'll figure something out before they all go on recess because they don't want to look like the bad guy heading into the election. So they are going to haggle. They'll do some mudslinging. The final hour will come around and they'll get a stimulus plan done probably in the first week, maybe the second week in August before they go on recess. That's for sure. But the market tends to get very nervous when everybody's gone from Washington. You got the Fed in recess, you have politicians in recess, you have the coronavirus continuing to spread. By the way, Brexit is another trade-related issue. They're not making any progress with the EU. There could be a hard exit coming, but I don't think that's going to have much of a market impact until probably November or so, which is election time. By the way, Biden leads in the polls right now. I think that's weighing on the market just a little bit, but it will become a heavier weight in September when we're only 2 months out from the election. Joe Biden has said that he's going to repeal some of the Trump tax credits, so the market doesn't like that type of news. And it doesn't like uncertainty, so I see a lot of uncertainty right now. We're talking about a lot of renters being evicted in October to the tune of about 23 million. 12 million people missed their rent payment in May. So these are some recurring themes that you've been hearing from me. Domestic economic numbers have been decent. The employment numbers have been good. ISM manufacturing, ISM services has been good. You had economic numbers out of China. They were not that great. Imports were up by 2.7%, but exports were only up by 0.5%. They have about a 2.5 month lead on everyone else as far as their economy reopening. It's been sluggish. Their retail sales were only up 1.8%. That wasn't a particularly good number. And we saw from the China Dragon Boat Festival that attendance was down 49% and revenues are down 69%. So there are a lot of dark clouds that are mounting on the horizon. August tends to be a relatively weak month for the market. So does September. All of these influences are converging. So as soon as we get these mega cap tech earnings, I think you're going to start seeing some profit taking. Sellers will normally hold off until then because these companies have been leading the market higher. As soon as they report, the air gets let out of the balloon. I plan to be in cash. I've had a lot of questions. What should I do? Should I sell everything? I'm talking about a trader's perspective. My time horizon is inside of a month. So, yes, I am going to cash. I'll be day trading, I'll be watching market conditions, but my overnight risk exposure will be very, very low. I'm not going to have a lot of out of the money bullish put spreads on. We've been making money hand over fist. I've milked everything I can out of this run, and I don't want to be running around with my head cut off trying to mitigate losses if the market does pull in. And for those of you who think you're nimble enough to adjust, if you're a day trader, maybe you can, but even then, you're going to take a day or two just trying to adjust your risk. Why go through that hassle? We've seen 100-point S&P drops in a day. When that happens, the option bid-ask spreads get blown way out. You don't even know where you can buy that spread back because you've got 50-cent, 80-cent bid-ask spreads on each leg of the option spread. So you're hoping to buy something back, but nobody's that inclined to sell you that spread. So you don't know where you can buy your bullish put spreads back. I don't want to deal with that. I want to be on the sidelines instead of worrying about my positions that I have on and how I'm going to adjust risk and will this bid be enough and maybe I can increase it and cancel it and re-enter it and cancel it and I don't want to deal with any of that. I want to have a clean slate. I want to watch the storm roll in. Then I want to look for opportunities. I'm not looking for a bloodbath here, but I am looking for a market pullback, and then I'll be able to evaluate the strength of the sell-off. I'll be able to determine if it's stronger than I had first expected. Credit is really the one thing that can cause a sustained market decline. And you've got all sorts of potential credit issues out there. Small businesses, you've got consumer credit that could be an issue. Banks have taken some pretty big bad loan write-downs. So the issue could come from almost anywhere. You're seeing energy drillers are missing bond payments. So there are plenty of warning signs out there right now. I know that the market feels great. It's floating higher. Everybody's happy. Got to be very, very cautious right now heading into the next few weeks. So I hope that you heed my warning. So I'm not going to give you any swing trades. I'm not going to give you any bullish put spreads because I want to encourage you to get to the sidelines and to focus on some day trading opportunities. So what we've been day trading today, we have actually just been trading the market, and I'll put that 5-minute chart back up. And you can see how the market rallied out of the gate. It looked like we are going to have a fairly weak open with the news overnight from China, but we didn't. We rallied up pretty well. Then we had a nice little market sell-off in here. But you can see that the move down had a mix of green and red candles. So this was not a nice, smooth move. It was herky-jerky. So 3 steps down, 2 steps back, 3 steps down, 2 steps back type of movement. Once we broke through this downward sloping trend line and we had this bullish 10P cross back in here, we had a nice little opportunity to get long. You can see that that down trend line extends right like that. This is a pretty good entry point for longs. So that's what we've been doing. I've been able to make money on RUN. So we're going to take a look at that. This is a hot stock. You can see very, very heavy volume, long green candles closing on the high, very little overlap, so great momentum. And when I was watching it today, you can see out of the right corner of the screen, this is the S&P 500, market down, down, down. Then we had a nice little rally here, but while the market was going down, the stock was going up. So as soon as we hit this little bounce right in here, whoosh, like throwing gasoline on the fire. That's what we look for. That's what option stalker searches find. So I did an overlay of the SPY so you can see that relative strength. The gray line is the market, down, down, down. When it's coming in here and we start getting a 10P cross, this is where you want to be in buying the stock. So it's gone from $39.80 to $40.90. So a $1 winner on a $40 stock. That is a nice gain. I'm going to take a look at GLD because I showed you that yesterday. You can see GLD is just on fire. Go into the daily chart. This breakout, you had a compression, you had a breakout. Yesterday I showed it to you, so this could be a very nice overnight swing, and it is gone. I think D, K, and G is another one that I showed you yesterday. I always like to try and review the stocks that I showed you the day before. I'm going to take off that SPY overlay. It's a little bit annoying. And here you can see that yesterday, if you'd have bought the stock when the video came out, you're down money on that. So DKNG has not been able to get back up to that price, but it looks okay in here. So that was another stock that I showed you. And I think SPCE was another one that I showed you. We've liked that for a while. There's the video, there's where the stock is, so basically unchanged. I think BYND was another one that we were looking at. And there you can see right in here is about where the video came out. Yeah, it had a little bit of spike to that level, but it is trading lower as well. So I'm not going to show you any overnight swing trades. I feel that the market is going to go sideways, float a little bit higher, chop around, and then we could have one nasty day. Is that going to be tomorrow? Is it going to be a week from now, 3 weeks from now? I don't know. I do know that with every earnings release that we get from the mega tech side, the chances of a big market drop increase. Now, Microsoft announces earnings tonight after the close, and Microsoft is kind of a steady stock. It doesn't tend to get too overheated. You can see how it has broken through this horizontal resistance and it's been grinding higher, but it hasn't gone parabolic like a lot of tech stocks have. I think that you're going to see a good number from them. I think the reaction is going to be fairly muted because good news is priced in right now. So I'm not looking for a gigantic move in Microsoft, but certainly one that supports the current market rally. Tesla, a little bit different story. There you could see some profit taking. You've had this breakout right here and this explosive move higher. This is getting a little bit lofty, so we'll see. We'll see if Tesla can perform. But we've got Google, Amazon, Apple, Facebook. Those are the other mega cap tech stocks that have yet to announce. They will be reporting next week. So that's when the action could really heat up, and that is when I would expect to see the market start to top out. So let's take a look at some of the other stocks that I like for today. PFE has actually made a nice move. I like that one. You could see how we had this downward sloping trend line here. It's been able to break out above it. I'll put the major moving averages up. And you can see how the stock has been able to get above that 200-day moving average. Got a nice long candle here with the stock up near the high. It's got some pretty good momentum. We'll put up that 5-minute chart. And you can see how PFE has continued to grind higher. Now, it is kind of a choppy stock. You can see gap higher, pull back. So I would wait for a pullback, and then I would try and buy. But I think PFE looks pretty good in here. McDonald's, this is off of the heavy buying list. McDonald's has been on fire today. Really like McDonald's. Really nice, strong, powerful move. And you can see that it announces earnings on 7/28. It's above that 200-day moving average, and now it's really starting to gain some momentum. AMD also looks really good. So out of the picks that I'm showing you today, I like AMD the best. I'm going to hover over the earnings date, 7/28. You can see this horizontal breakout right here. Stock is on its high of the day. This is actually one that I think you could buy today and hold overnight. I like AMD. I think it continues to power higher. Typically a choppy stock. But now that it's through that horizontal resistance and looking to close well above it on big volume, I think this stock is going to see some follow through. So Your pick for today is AMD. As far as other stocks that you might consider for day trading, I think RUN, McDonald's, MCD, I think GLD also work well. Take a quick look at a couple of others. GLD we've taken a look at. PAAS is a silver stock. Silver's also done very well. That's AG is a silver stock. You see that big breakout right there. Big gaps. So you've got a lot of people going into precious metals. And it shouldn't come as a surprise. Every dang country in the world is running the printing presses like mad. Europe's getting into the stimulus act. They're going to have a $2 trillion stimulus plan that was announced yesterday. We've already had a $6 trillion stimulus plan, and we got probably another $1.5 trillion stimulus plan coming. But those printing presses are going to have to continue to run hard because the coronavirus is really dragging this economy down. It is on life support right now. So these little sugar highs are very necessary to keep the market afloat. So that's kind of what's going on right now. We've got a lot of earnings that are going to be coming up. We're going to be using some earnings searches. You know that I've gone into the buy into earnings search. All you have to do is look through this list, see which stocks are starting to really move, click through it, and know that they are going to grind higher. I like to select stocks that have not made a big move. I was watching GE the other day, and you could see how that stock is trying to get through that 100-day moving average. You've got earnings on 729. If it can get above the 100-day moving average, I think it may be a decent little day trade. I'm going to click GTC. I'm going to click on the top of this candle here. I'm going to draw my GTC alert line, so if it gets above 720, I will know about it. This is the type of play that I like. And we know that it has a tendency to rally into earnings more than 75% of the time over the last 3 years. Once it's inside of that 2-week window, there is a bullish bias to it. So GM, Intel was one that was trying to grind higher. It's gotten through this horizontal resistance level. It wants to float higher ahead of earnings. So going through this list, very, very useful. You can also take a look and go through some of the stocks that are dragging, like CVS. You can see how it's pulling back down around this 100-day moving average. It would be attractive into earnings on 8.5. So I'll be watching that. I can just click on the high of the day right there, drop a GTC alert line, let me know when that high is eclipsed. All of a sudden, I just start getting alerts that pop up. Take a look at the chart. Then I can decide if I want to get in or not. I don't have to keep looking for new trades. They're delivered to me via these pop-up windows. So that's it. That's what I've got for you today. I think that AMD looks good for the rest of the day. I think it looks good as an overnight. I love that breakout to a new relative high. McDonald's, RUN, GLD, those are some other great names for you. If you like this content, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know I'm doing something right. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on your notifications so that you never miss one of these videos. Trade well. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching this YouTube video. I'm Pete Stolzers, and I'm going to keep the trade ideas coming along with lots of education. So make sure to subscribe to the channel and please turn on your notifications so that you never miss another trade. If you like the content, please give it a thumbs up. I've loaded 2 other videos that I think you're really going to enjoy. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon.